watching NDTV Hindu.
Hello there and welcome to a very special episode of Off the Record. I'm in conversation with the renowned Bharatanatyam artist and Padma Bhushan awardee Alarmel Valli. Akka, that's a very formal and official introduction, but I have my version, so may I?
Yes, very keen to hear it, Anu.
Alarmel Valli, or Valli Akka as I call her, is not only a dancer, she's also a singer, because when she dances, her entire being, her whole body becomes the song or the music. She is also a poet because her interpretation of the text is profound, deep, personal and lyrical. She's also a scholar and a literature because she's highly erudite and well-read, and her knowledge of the ancient texts is absolutely astonishing. And finally, she's also a painter because she paints her art with her own unique palette of colors. And when she dances, believe me, she's like a butterfly because your heart soars with her. Here she is, this little 5-foot dynamo.
You've taken 2 inches off, which I value a lot, Anu. 2 inches more. No, but I think your introduction was poetry in itself. I'm quite overwhelmed.
See, this is what you do, huh? You inspire poetry in people.
Thank you, because I really do appreciate what you said, because all the things you mentioned are very intrinsic to my perception and understanding and interpretation of Bharatanatyam. Poetry, musicality are the keys to my unlocking of the beauty of Bharatanatyam. Without it, I could do nothing at all. So musicality, lyricism, and so you said you've captured in a nutshell, in a very beautiful way, the things I believe in dance.
Well, thank you very much, and may I once again say how excited we are at NDTV Hindu that you're doing this performance for us. Shall we tell them a little bit?
Yes, but may I also say that for me, this is one of the very few thematic productions that I have done. And for me to be able to do it under the auspices of NDTV Hindu, I have an old association with, and NDTV is a channel which I respect hugely. In fact, my favorite channel, so in English. So I really am happy that we are doing it in collaboration. The performance is called Only Until the Light Fades.
It's on the 18th of this month, which is the following Monday, at Sir Mutta Venkata Subbarao Hall at 7:30 p.m. But Akka will tell us a little bit about the concept.
Yes, it's a selection, a subjective selection, an eclectic selection of love poetry through the ages, ancient, medieval and modern. And in fact, the title of the poem, rather the production, Only Until the Light Fades, is a line, the concluding line from Arundhati Subramaniam's poem, Vigil, which I am also presenting because I have worked on this in collaboration with Arundhati. The concept is in collaboration with her. So that's the title.
Akka, now you're very careful about your collaborations. You're not somebody who wants to wildly experiment, be there, be on stage all the time, no. So how did you team up with Arundhati? Are you friends with her?
You know, Anu, for me, in fact, this is a thought that will be in many people's minds. Why am I doing this? Because, you know, normally I don't do thematic productions. In the first place, I must say this, that for me, I abhor pretension of any kind. If I do something, anything at all, it has to be something I believe in. And also the people I work with, the artists I work with, have to be those with whom I share a common aesthetic and artistic ideal. That's been the case when I did Samanvaya with Madhavi. And now with Arundhati, she is not only a poet that I immensely admire. She's, I think, a remarkable intellect, a person of such wonderful ideas. So I admire her as a person. We share many similar ideals, particularly artistic and aesthetic ideals. And so the idea of working with her, there is a great deal of trust and confidence with someone you work with. So that is a very important factor, that trust, that ability to know that, you know, they will not do anything that will jar. And that both of you, when you translate each other's vision or idioms, then you can do justice to it without any fear of it turning out to be some kind of aberration.
Now, I've been reading her poetry, Arundhati's poetry,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of music in it.
Yes, yes. That's a fact, because I think it's a very important aspect is the musicality of her poetry. It's very, very cadenced, full of tonal shifts and rich in metaphor. So that is one aspect for me which is vitally important, because for me musicality is intrinsic to my vision of dance, lyricism too. And so the two go together, and metaphors, I think it's so important in dance. You can become prosaic when you do your Sanchari Bhavas. You can go off at a tangent into the most banal expositions of Sanchari. For me, it's vitally important that you stay not just with the sthai, the central mood, core emotion, but also when you elaborate it, it has to be poetic. So these two aspects are very important.
Now, I've attended a lot of your performances. Is Shringara your favorite rasa? Because look at this recital, it's the theme of love, love in the ancient times and through the ages and now. So, is that what you like performing or portraying the most?
But it would be an unusual person who's not fascinated by Shringara. Poets through the ages, artists through the ages, whether visual or in the performing arts, have all been absorbed by the subject, because it is so multifaceted, so multidimensional. And in fact, I begin the performance with an invocation on Shringara. I begin with an abstract celebration of love from Bhoja's Shringara Prakashanam, which actually says that poets may speak of 10 rasas. He says 10 rasas, including maternal love. But we declare that Shringaram is the rasa of rasas, the one that is most savoured. So then I go on to the atmospherics of love, season of love with Kalidasa's Ritu Samharam. And then I go on to another verse which is about the attributes of Cupid. It's a benediction, again from Kalidasa, where you invoke the blessings of happiness and love on the audience. And then the program moves on.
Akka, you've been very interested in Sangam poetry and you've done a lot of work with Sangam literature. So when we come back after the break, will you tell us how that fascination began and also a little bit about your childhood and your gurus?
Yes, I'll do that.
So stay tuned to Off the Record with Padma Bhushan awardee Alarmel Valli.